Hi guys, and welcome back to At Home with Elisa. As you may have seen from my last upload, we are under flood watch here in New South Wales. I believe Queensland is as well, but we're located in New South Wales. The last video I was showing the preparation that we have done so that hopefully we don't have any significant flooding here at our property. Last video we were told that we were getting up to 300 millimetres of rain over 7 days. The models have been revised and they're looking at between 200 and 500 millimetres of rain and winds of 125 kilometres an hour. So that's quite significant weather by any standards, and we are a little bit nervous here. At the moment we've definitely managed to avoid a lot of the really bad weather, thankfully. So a lot of that bad weather is actually hit further south of us, and obviously we've managed to avoid it. I've just checked, we do have a weather gauge here at our property and we have only received 25 millimetres of rain so far. So it's day one of a 7-day event, and at this point in time it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and we've only received 25 millimetres of rain, which is quite good for us. Thankfully we've managed to avoid a lot of that sort of damaging weather. But I'm just about to have a look around the property and I'll just check each day. I'll just check in with you over the next couple of days and show you what's going on, and hopefully we don't have anything to report and this is the most boring video ever. So I've just checked our rainwater tank and we're about 3/4 full, which is really good. We're not overflowing as yet. I have made obviously those precautions for the water to overflow and hopefully be siphoned into the swimming pool and act as a holding pond just for excess garden water for the future. But we'll just check the drains now. I know that tomorrow is supposed to be a really bad day for the weather. It's supposed to be the worst one. So that's the one we're sort of bracing for at the moment. So currently the drainage at the top of our property, which goes all the way across the top of the property, is draining really well. It's still managing the rainfall and this flows down into our creek. So we'll go down and have a look at what the creek looks like. So the creek area is flowing nicely, which is good. Still steady rainfall. This comes off some hills further up and it goes all the way down over to that way where our dam is. That's that tree there we actually lost in the last lot of flooding. So the creek's flowing well. It's got a bit of a drop there, but the dam is definitely looking full already. As I explained in my previous video, just over the other side of the dam there, I think it's probably already spilling over by the look of it, there's actually it's like a waterfall that drips down the other side, and this dam actually, it's like a little holding dam and it feeds down into a river downstream, so it overflows and goes down into the river. But at this point in time I'm really happy with how it's working. So this is the area of the garden that does cop that runoff from slightly uphill. It seems to be doing really well. As I said, it's only 25 mils of rain, but I'm really happy with that. And obviously the little trenches that I dug are working well. This one hasn't got any in it. This is the main one that gets the damage. And nothing, which is fantastic. Over here you can see some water starting to spill up behind there. That's perfectly normal. We have our neighbours up the street have a dam that has already started to overflow. The dam overflows down and funnels down to our catchment, which is obviously starting to spill and expel water, which is good. It's not overflowing as yet. And that there is the pipes where the catchment comes out. So all the water, which essentially is any rainwater and any water from the dam further up the street, that's where it ends up. And it travels just there into our neighbour's yard and further down to a local creek. This garden bed here is still intact. We are getting quite a bit of runoff still from underneath here. Obviously it's little girl's day out today. They are still perfectly happy because our catchment hasn't spilled over, but there's just, because this is the lowest point, the water does funnel down this way, but I'm really happy with where that's at. I'm sure they're still really, that's nature. That's Eugene being Eugene. but I'm really happy with it all. So this here is our water catchment. As I mentioned, the dam up the street and everything else flows into this area. It travels to that drain and then it spurts out down further near my fence in our garden. So all in all, I'm really happy with where we're at with day one. Only 25 mils of rain, but some of the garden I was actually expecting it to be a little bit worse for wear, and it's doing quite well, so I'm really happy. Tomorrow will be the big day, and the day after they're both expecting those to be quite significant. We'll be just watching for garden damage and mainly for the little girls, little chickens. Our bantam chickens, we have to watch them because their coop area is actually a little bit lower than our normal laying hens. So we'll keep a close eye on them over the next couple of days, and I'll report back and let you know how it's going. So it's just before 5. I haven't slept much, but I just want to check before Eugene wakes all the girls up that they're not in danger if they come down. I can see that the catchment's full. Looks alright in there. Looks alright. Okay. This is at least stopping some of the flooding. How's it in here? So they've still got ground to walk on if they get up. It's just the edges. So it's now 6 AM. This is out the front of the coop. That's the water rushing into the garden. Eugene's just waking the ladies up. I can see they've still got dry areas there. The wind's definitely picked up. They've still got dry areas so they can come down. But it'll definitely be a watching every half hour or so from here on, I think. There's more weather forecast. This is the overflow of the water from the catchment. Oh, it's freezing. So that's definitely increased in the last hour. The big girls are fine. They've got quite a large area that they're okay there. I'm not sure if you can see that, but the grate is completely gone, and that is full of water. So at this point I'm just going to say that they're okay, and I'll be back in half an hour. Yeah, that's a really wet garden bed, but it's okay. And that's a thoroughly soaked garden bed, which is what I thought. Got about 50 to 70 ranunculus planted there, so I don't know how they're going to go. But at least it's not washing the soil away. Oh wow, that wind's strong. The trenches seem to be working well. The water is running away. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's running away down to the neighbour's property. the top drain at the top of our property. It's actually starting to overflow and it travels down, all the way down to the garden. To break the banks now. Through there. This is where it breaks. This is where we need to build our berm. No. The girls have got a front door waterfall. Oh, now we lost my umbrella. Need to build this garden bed much higher. But it's got its own waterfall. All overflowing. Comes from that side. just come down, it's time to put the chickens away. I think we're at 122 millimeters of rain so far, and it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So that count will keep going until midnight. We've been watching the chickens every half hour, mainly the little girls because the big girls are safe, but mainly the little girls, they have had some time outside in between downpours. The garden's pretty much a washout. I planted a peony and about 70 ranunculus corms, and I've actually picked the ranunculus corms up from the garden path because they've just been washed away. So this is the garden bed that they were all planted in, and I found them down there. So obviously the catchment is still well and truly overflowing. Coming from up there. The chickens have actually put themselves away anyway. They did have some nice treats today and some fresh fruit, so that's enough to keep them comfortable, but they have been upstairs most of the day, but I did see them out here as well, so it's definitely given the coop a bit of a clean. So it's day 3 today. We have had 36 meals so far today, which is pretty good really. It's actually been, it hasn't rained for a couple of hours, which is fantastic. So our water tank has stopped overflowing, which is good. And I'm still running water into here. As you can see, it's getting quite a bit deeper. So our creek still has a good runoff happening. It'll probably stay like this for a couple of days. Even if we don't have more rain, it just keeps coming down. So happy with where that's at. As you can see, it's slowed down a lot more as it goes across the land. It's not skirting high anymore. As for our catchment, we've still got water coming in, but it has subsided quite a bit. And you can see the grate again. So yesterday we couldn't even see where that was. So it slowly comes in and funnels in here, and then it goes through down there to the garden. So the aftermath of this garden is pretty bad. As you can see, the water runoff has stopped into the garden. You can see the damage that it's caused. And this area just here actually had water flowing quite heavily through it even this morning, just underneath that gate, and it's just dug a path through the gravel. And it heads over to there, and as I said, that's where the water actually comes out from our catchment, right over there where it's bubbling. So the water's still rushing in. You can see what happened to our barricade. We had that slowing the water down as it overflowed. Clearly not working too well. So our local area has just been announced as a natural disaster zone. Yeah, there's so many people who have flooding within their homes. We're very lucky this time. Our homes are relatively water free. It's just the property that's got the brunt of it. But a natural disaster has been declared in our area. This morning we had torrential rain. And I was up before the sun come up just to check on the chickens and make sure that everyone was okay. The garden's a complete washout. So the garden's a complete washout. We'll just have to rebuild it and start again and make some plans to try and fix it so that this doesn't happen again. But right now it's time to take care of these chickens and make sure they've got fresh food and water and some treats because they've been through it. So this is all the water that I've been able to siphon from our little overflow wheelbarrow instead of having it rush down the land and essentially down towards the garden. I captured it in a hose and I have diverted it back into here. We're currently well over the second step on the ladder, and as you can see, this actually comes up to my, probably about my ribs. So okay guys, so it's technically day 6. Day 5 was yesterday. We had 85 mils of rain, which is actually 3.3 inches of rain. Bit of a rough day yesterday. We had lost power earlier this week, and yesterday we also lost our ability for water. So, rough week. Thankfully it has stopped raining. We are still getting a lot of runoff. I can actually, you probably won't be able to hear it, but I can hear the property next door is a large property, and they have what sounds like a waterfall running through. You can hear it over night time, so it's quite loud, but we still have water running into our catchment from up the road, just runoff, but we can see our grate again. So our concrete grate over there is always our indicator. So the ladies are enjoying some time outside. The little girls were outside yesterday and they did enjoy it, though they were absolute drowned rats by the end of the day. We did obviously get a fair bit of rain yesterday as well. I've been keeping tracks of all the totals just over the last couple of days. Now when I keep tracks of the totals, I only keep a track to probably about 9:30 at night when I actually go to bed. And our totals keep clicking over until midnight. So when I say the totals that I've been keeping track of throughout this video, it is only until 9:30. So there's actually another 2.5 hours worth of rain events that I haven't actually been keeping track of. But the totals all up over the last couple of days is 478 mils, and that's 18.6 inches of rain, which is absolutely incredible. And obviously it's caused a lot of damage to our garden. Our chickens survived, which was our main thing that we were concerned about. The garden needs some revision. The chicken coop needs some revision. And the lands, it's really wet. Really, really wet. So this is the swimming pool that I mentioned was just going to act as my holding pond. The reason we had decided to actually remove it is because it's not quite level and it needs to be taken down and leveled out and then put back up again for summer. But I just wanted to use it as a holding pond for excess water. This swimming pool holds 19,000 litres of water, and as you can see, it's pretty much full. This is our 3rd extreme weather event since we've been living here, which is absolutely crazy. And we obviously need to do something about some work in our gardens, some landscaping, and just how to divert water. Obviously we need to be able to stop the water from spilling from higher up on the land of next door's land and coming through the gully that we've done is just, it's inadequate. It breaks banks, so it needs to be reviewed. So overall we're very lucky really. A lot of people haven't been as lucky as us. Even though a natural disaster has been declared, we are very, very lucky. We haven't had water inundation in our homes. They've definitely leaked. It's definitely been a pain in the butt. But all in all, we're very lucky considering some other people are in, in a terrible situation. So we just have to work out how to fix it. If you have any suggestions, please let us know. Thanks so much for watching.